As we were traveling through the islands, we kept asking ourselves one question. Which island is our favorite one? It was impossible to say. Each island felt very different. Each one like a world of its own, a small universe, waiting for us to get on our bikes and to be explored.
Hey, I'm Denisa, and I really enjoy crossing things on my bike or hiking. And this time, together with Amore, we are crossing the Canary Islands.
For the next 2 weeks, we are back on the road, riding on volcanic gravel and enjoying desert-like landscapes that are suddenly blooming with flowers. I've never seen a place alike. We don't have a plan, but we have enough time to figure it out as we go.
What I really enjoyed about this travel right from the beginning is that it doesn't feel overwhelming. The islands are small and there's nothing really remote. We don't have to bring food for days or worry about survival. So in this way, it felt like a real vacation for once.
It's February, we left the snowy Alps behind, and here the sun is shining, our skin is salty, and it's really hard to tell if it's tanned or just dirty. I hate packing, but I love bikepacking, so every morning begins the same way, strapping our lives back onto the bikes and asking ourselves a few simple questions. Where do we go today? What are we eating? And will there be cats? And the best places, they are. We don't have a lot of things, but we have all we need. 2 pairs of bibs, 3 jerseys, and something to sleep in. Our bags are full of snacks. And sand.
Well, I could definitely get used to winters like this.
It was actually my first time on an island, and I kept thinking how cool it is to be surrounded by nothing but water. And rocks. A lot of rocks. Quite soon we got off the road, and even though we were never too far from the next town, there was a strong feeling of remoteness. The air was wet and the light gloomy, but we felt so light, just riding our bikes, without a sense of time or destination on our minds. The ocean does something to my mind, the same thing that mountains do. It quiets everything. The noise, the overthinking, the constant need to plan, to know. It disappears somewhere between the sound of the waves and the songs of seagulls.
Fancy situation in the tent.
Since the air was so wet, we were really hoping to find a dry place to sleep.
Are we sleeping at the beach again?
Not tonight.
But the prices were so high that sleeping inside would remain a wish. Sleeping on a beach sounds way more romantic than it actually is. Everything is wet and, well, the sand gets to places where it really doesn't belong. It never ceased to fascinate me what traveling by bike does to our perception of distance and time. The kilometers pass quickly, but the experience feels so rich and stretched, as if you've lived several days in just a few hours. Suddenly, riding my bike becomes all there is. Nothing else to do than to pedal. Nothing else to think than where we are going to sleep and what we are going to eat.
We need to discuss something very important. The Canarian potatoes. I don't know what they put in that stuff, but oh my god, that thing. Those are the best potatoes in the world. I would say that even though all the islands are very different, one thing connects all of them, and that is good food.
Here on the islands, the wind can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And until now, we mostly fought against it. But on the last day, as we began cycling south, the wind pushed us all the way to the ferry. And well, it was our time to say goodbye. The sunsets here, they are really something. Riding into them feels like swimming in honey, golden and soft, and with the ocean air and sweat, a bit sticky. At the end of each day, we were already looking forward to get back on the bike and keep riding. But some of the best moments had nothing to do with riding at all. They happened in between. Sitting down with whatever snacks we have, looking out over the ocean and doing absolutely nothing. It feels special to see the world falling asleep and waking up. Then the actual sleeping in a tent rarely lives up to the image that we have in our minds, especially when your partner has no hesitation about expressing themselves, not through the mouth. But then the sun hits your face and you forget all about it. You're outside and you're free. And for me, it doesn't really get better than that. Compared to Lanzarote, it feels way more relaxed and wild here. The roads are rough, bumpy, shaped by wind, traffic, and time, reminding us in its own way that there is no rush.
I have been broken, my heart, soul, and bones. Throw me to the ocean like a skipping stone.
I find that on the bike, the world moves at the right speed. Not too fast to miss all the little details, and not too slow to not see the big picture.
Prepare for the river to swallow me whole. An angry boy yelling for his final call.
The road followed the ocean for a while before slowly pulling us inland toward the mountains that we had been watching from a distance.
It's been a very rainy winter in the Canary Islands, and so we had a chance to see them all green and blooming with flowers, which is not their typical look. So we felt pretty lucky to see them in this way, so alive.
That day, we didn't stop much. Roads like these, they don't really ask you to. They invite you to keep going and to disappear into your movement.
The wind can get super strong, and sometimes staying on the bike can be quite a challenge. And I felt a bit silly walking my bike down the mountain. But yeah, I guess I would rather be silly than dead.
Riding at the end of the day, with the smell of flowers in the air and the mountains turning into a painting. How do you even describe that feeling? Well, maybe you don't. Maybe you just ride. Because this feeling that I cannot name, that's the one that really makes me want to go ride, to catch another sunset, to cross mountains even if I'm scared, to keep climbing even when the body starts to get tired.
It's completely flat here, but the wind is so strong that I don't have to pedal. I'm just like, nothing will push me. That's nice.
And it was very nice, but it could quickly change against us. And it would. But I guess that's part of the game. One time you're flying, and the next moment you have to work really hard to even keep moving. We knew bivouac is not gonna work because when we pitched the tent, it like literally flew away. We tried calling a few hotels in the area, but nobody had a place for us. But Amory remembered seeing a hotel somewhere along the way, so we decided to just go back and check. It was already dark and the place was very quiet, suspiciously quiet even. But we saw that there's a tent in front of the front door, so we asked the people if the hotel gave them permission to camp there. The guy laughed at us and told us that no, he doesn't have a permission, but chances are that we're not gonna bother anybody because this isn't a hotel, it's a cemetery.
And that's how we ended up sleeping in a cemetery parking lot. The wall between us and the quietly resting ones protecting us from the wind. We didn't see any ghosts, not until the next evening.
You are going to carnival?
I'm going to bed.
Apparently here it's party time.
In February there are big carnivals in the main town. It's a huge event, but for us the party was happening on the bike, and the only thing that we wanted to do on our rest day was to do our laundry, stay in bed and snack a lot.
Sometimes I feel like I'm missing out if I'm not moving and not doing. But without rest, I can't fully experience anything. To stop and to let the body relax. To think and to not think. To be bored. It's all part of moving forward with an open mind and an open heart. Because if I don't create space, I can't accept everything that the world has to offer. I often feel like I don't have the time to stop, the time to notice more. Like I need to rush from one thing to another, as if I'm about to miss something. But like this, the only thing I'm really missing is life itself, slipping through my fingers. And the simplest way to feel alive is to stop for a moment and to notice the sounds, the textures, the smells, all the small things that make up the present. So why is it so difficult sometimes? I guess like everything, it's a practice, and the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Being grateful, it's something I can feel so strongly when I'm on the bike traveling. But maybe I can find it anywhere. If I choose to slow down and set my mind this way, open, aware, even if just for a moment. After all, that's all there is. We started by the sea level and now we are climbing to nearly 2,000 meters. And the higher we get, the more the island changes around us. First dry and rocky, then still dry but somehow softer and friendlier. And up high it's suddenly lush and green. Gran Canaria feels like several different worlds gathered into one small island. And you just have to climb high enough to meet them all. We stopped for lunch, and to my great surprise, it was Czech people cooking Czech food, and they even had Czech beer. In the middle of Gran Canaria, of all places. I felt right at home. Jako ve správě českého spůdce. And yeah, even though I'm nowhere near my official address, up here in the mountains, it's very easy for me to find a feeling of home wherever I go.
There are quite a few cool campgrounds in Gran Canaria and Tenerife where you can camp for free with a permit, and it's not like a typical campground where you have showers and toilets. It's literally just a ground where you are allowed to camp, and while it didn't come with a toilet, it did come with $1 million view. When traveling, mornings can become quite a chore. You have to prepare everything, prepare yourself, prepare your bike, pack, etc., etc. But in a way, they are also my favorite part of the day. But I feel like every good adventure begins with a good breakfast, a cup of coffee, and at least for me, my skincare routine. As I'm getting older, I really begin to appreciate this little moment with myself. It's really not about how my skin looks on the outside, it's more about how it makes me feel when I take this time to care about myself. It makes me feel way more ready to face whatever the day puts on my plate.
After all the climbing, we could finally see the northern part of the island for the first time. And now it was time to let the gravity do the hard work, descending down to the port, where we would take one last ferry.
What I really enjoyed about traveling in the islands is that very often you can kind of see them from above, as if you were looking in a map. And I love looking in the map and tracing where I'm coming from and where I am going. And I feel like here the islands are creating such a nice physical separation between different parts of the travel. Every time that you leave one behind, you know that a new chapter is about to open.
In the evening, we walked around the town saying hi to the local cats. And then it was time to say another goodbye.
Okay, the boat thing, I must say, not my favorite thing. I tried to film something about it, but I was pretty sick every time. The worst was the one between Fuerteventura and Gran Canaria. The waves were pretty big that day, big in a way that like when you look down from one window you see the sea, and then when you look to the other window you see the sky. So yeah, it was like, you know. Luckily I did not vomit, but maybe Amory could tell you a different story.
Wow.
But no siesta time for us. We started climbing right away.
Canarian almonds.
A few times we were hosted by a warm shower host. It's kind of like couchsurfing but for cyclists. And that day we had a really lovely evening with our host and his two cats, who then slept on me the whole night.
The next day we started a long climb towards Straede.
This one was tiring. It's not a hard climb, it's never too steep. It's just very long, a bit like with a band-aid. I rather to have it done quickly.
It really felt like this road will never end. And to be honest, I was kinda sick of it. But then I saw Straede in the distance, and yeah, it kinda helped me see where am I going and why am I here.
You're literally climbing on a volcano, so there's not much things around. But we found one restaurant. It smelled so good from the outside, but unfortunately there was a sign that they don't accept cards. Understandable, again, we're in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, I asked the lady if we can have something to eat for 17 euro, because that's the only cash that we have. She looked at me with very kind eyes. Sí, chicken? Sí, chicken. E para beber? Do we have money for beber? Sí. 17,42 euro was all we had, and it cost us 17,42 euro.
Not too far from the top, we left the road and disappeared into the wilderness. The night was coming, our bottles were empty, and so were our stomachs. But our campground for the night was still quite far.
Will we have water or not? I guess yes.
Even though these are official campgrounds, it's really just that, a piece of ground. No running water, no showers, etc. So we always have to make sure that we carry a few extra liters for the night. And we were really lucky to find a drinking source along the way, something not very common in the Canaries.
I'm on a rescue mission. I have lost my friend. I have lost Mr. Bear. Mr. Bear was chilling here with Sasha and Zoe. And then the terrible thing happened. No more Mr. Bear. Mr. Bear, I'm coming. I'm gonna find you and I will bring you home. Is it Mr. Bear? Oh yes. Mr. Bear. Where did you go? Hi, Mr. Bear. Sorry. Well, I was ready to go for a 5-kilometer climb for Mr. Bear, but luckily he decided to jump off way earlier than that. I'm very happy that we reunited because this guy has been traveling with me for 5 years now.
At some point where there used to be a bridge, there was now just a gap, and an opportunity for our first proper hike and bike of the trip. Because would it even be a real gravel adventure without one? It only took us about twice as long as expected, and all of our energy. But we eventually made it to the other side of the gorge, and from there, straight to beers and some much needed laundry. You know this technique? Like a Bib's burrito. And squeeze. Squeeze the burrito.
So I suspect the cat made a little puncture in it.
Oh no.
And so I put water to find out where it was.
It's like a little volcano. But you still love cats, right?
Yes.
That day we saw Teide from a completely different angle, magnificent as always. Riding through lava fields, through landscapes that felt like something out of Lord of the Rings. It's hard to describe how unreal it all looked in real life. And somehow we found ourselves in this gravel heaven, completely in awe of what nature can create. This place is truly one of a kind. And just like that, with one last beautiful day to settle into our memories, our journey slowly came to an end. Smelly clothes, layers of dust and old lava covering absolutely everything. But underneath it all, a quiet mind and a heart full. What can I say? Riding in shorts, sleeping next to the ocean or high above it without being cold? Was definitely a winter adventure done right. And the best thing is, there's still so much to explore. Whole islands, actually. So I guess, until the next time.